Last week I was on TikTok replying to comments when I seen this. Movie World asking me where the Flash Speed Force was, and I thought, why didn't I build that? So I jumped back into Movie World in Planet Coaster instead at this big empty space, and after panicking at the thought of building it, I just jokingly replied with, on the Gold Coast of course. And technically I am right as it's now open at the real Movie World, but I agreed and told them good point, I'd get it done in a flash. Anyways, over the weekend, after hours of work, the Flash Speed Force is now open in Planet Coaster. But after seeing it complete, I couldn't help but imagine Superman looking like this as he flies past. So without further ado, g'day and welcome. I am What's His Face, and this is the full build for that Flash Speed Force coaster sort of design that we did. I'll be pretty much going over everything from start to finish, obviously starting off with emptying out the existing area, deleting a lot of the old Superman parts, and then starting the build of the coaster itself. So I'm not sure if you've been following, but I'm not sure how many of you watch YouTube and TikTok at the same time, but I've been trying to catch up the TikTok crowd with the whole Movie World build that I did. So over the last couple of months, I've been updating them, doing little shorts of what we were doing through the whole 100 episodes, and now that they've caught up with everybody else, we can start designing other things. So essentially, all I did was ask, what's next? What should I do? Trying to get some feedback, some ideas on where people would like to see my sort of build style be made into, whether they want to see, I think I had a couple options of like Dream World and Sea World or Movie World in Planet Coaster 2. Just trying to see a gauge on where everybody's at with what they'd like to see in these sort of creations. As I said though, I do have a couple of little builds coming up. And then that's more of like an end game of, okay, well, that's what we want to get to, of building something a lot bigger. And I was hoping to see whether Planet Coaster 2, what their next DLC will be when it drops, and then deciding on whether we go that route or we just build in Planet Coaster and just keep going through that. So I've been getting a lot of good feedback for that. So as always, please leave a comment of what you think should happen. I've had some really cool suggestions of linking the Wild West Falls to Oz itself around the back of Scooby-Doo there, as you can see. Or my latest thought I've had was, after completing this, I've always wanted to remake Superman Escape. Ever since they announced that they're going to be doing their own sort of revamp on the ride, everybody that knows me through my channel, I've always loved designing rides myself. And it was when I was making this that my ideas were just flowing of different things I could do and create. And essentially, after being called out by Movie World, as you've seen, asking me to design this, I really started to have these ideas of, oh, I could transform both of these rides into something way better. So that's probably what I'm going to be going through and trying to create in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it structurally wise. As I said, some people love these to be short videos. Some people love them to be long videos. I'm pretty much just going off of pretty much the analytics of the videos of how they're responded to by people. And for the most part, I'm getting like really good feedback. But then at the same time, I'm getting people asking me to start something new. Like, I think we're still just trying to get a gauge on whether Movie World's finished and we should move on, or we should really keep going and people would love to see me try and like really design Superman Escape and the Flash Speed Force into its own unique big ride. I don't know how much of that I want to give away, because obviously I don't want Movie World stealing the idea and doing it. No. More of, I don't want to ruin the surprise of what I'm going to create. Like, I love getting everybody's feedback on what I should be creating or like should be making, and I don't want to ruin that and be like, this is what I'm making, because I want you to be able to comment below and be like, I think this would be cool, and then we can work off each other like that. It would be really cool if we could do this, like if we had my ideal situation, right? Let's be real for a second. Is nothing against Planet Coaster 2. It's as great as it is. I just think they should have said, hey, we're moving on. Completely understandable for a game to move on to Planet Coaster 2, right? But there will be no more DLC for Planet Coaster. everything will be moved to Planet Coaster 2. So you could have had a team set up to just bring all of these pieces from Planet Coaster 1 into Planet Coaster 2. And then I feel like you would still have the encouragement from everybody to play Planet Coaster 2 if they had access to all of these pieces. Because new fans could just buy Planet Coaster 2 and play all of it. Older fans can just use the pieces that we have. And then essentially, if you really ported it over well, would just be able to copy all of our parks into Planet Coaster 2, and I'd be able to create a Wet and Wild area down the end. And it's just a weird missed opportunity I feel like they made, and they would have, I feel like, made so much money if they just had have been like, look, we're just going to copy it over, it's going to be an extension of Planet Coaster, but DLC from now on will be implemented into Planet Coaster 2. Like, it's not bad that they would do that, but like, it's completely understandable that you'd want to upgrade the graphics and how things work and everything else, but I feel like you just missed an opportunity of having everything in the one game, essentially. Instead of us having to do this restart thing, you could have had people building with the new pieces and old pieces and creating ridiculous things. Like, I think that's the one big problem I have with this park, is that so many people can't access it, and that's the worst thing I hate about it. With Planet Coaster 2, you can download every one of my workshop items on PC, on PlayStation, on Xbox. It doesn't matter. Like, you can play it on everything. And that's something I really think Planet Coaster 2, their strength is. With this, I hate having to write comments to people being like, I'm sorry, it's only on PC. Because I know how many console players watch this, and how many console players don't get represented by these big parks because you have big creators I just called myself a big creator. You have creators, I'm going to say, building these sort of parks that only a PC audience can have. And it's not fair for people to be like, well, you have to download a PC to play it, which is why Planet Coaster 2 makes so much sense. But the amount of effort it would take to rebuild a whole movie world would just be weird. Sorry to the people that don't normally watch my videos. This is 100% normal for me to go off on a random tangent about the game in the background while it's playing. All of the build is pretty straightforward. I struggled for a long time trying to find a coaster that would be able to be rideable, but it was just way too hard. As I said, like, playing around with Planet Coaster 2, I would have done a fully custom ride that would have moved, would have flipped, would have twisted and everything, but it's just the limitations of the game, sadly. So it is what it is. So it was just easier to recreate it. This isn't the first ride in Movie World that I've recreated that isn't real. The Looney Tunes ride's one of them. Doomsday Destroyer is another one of them. What's happening with that, by the way? I've just seen... just let me open up my YouTube. With the Doomsday Destroyers, I was only watching it the other day. Hang on. Sorry, my TV is loud. Oh, Jag's Journey. That's it. How could I forget that I'm Jag's Journey? He just did an updated video on, like, the whole Doomsday's just gone. Like, I couldn't believe it when he put the video up of, like, oh, wow, like, it is gone. Like, the statue, everything else. If you've seen the short, I did tease that this new area that I'm building would feature that Doomsday statue, as I believe it was so good making that I couldn't let it go to waste. So you will have Doomsday and the Flash in Metropolis. We can work that out, how we're going to do that. Maybe fighting Doomsday. Maybe Doomsday's only in the Superman part. I'm still working out the logistics of how I'm going to make it work. Putting him over here, he is freaking huge from our park. I don't know how big he is in the real life, like up close, because I've never obviously seen him up close. I've only seen him up on the thing. But like in this game, he's huge. So I'm like, oh, I might have messed up by saying that I'm going to reuse that thing. So I don't know. I'm approaching it in a weird way of as if Movie World, same as all my other builds, Movie World has approached me and said, hey, we would love for you to design a new theming part of the ride, but we can't touch the existing tracks. Like, the existing tracks are what it is. Here's some money. Go and create a whole new story, a whole new thing to make these worlds fit together. So you got to think of when you walk into the park, to your left you have DC Rivals, you have Justice League, the ride. I couldn't think of. I was kept saying Batman in my head. I'm like, it's definitely Batman's gone, mate. You got to move on. I remember still watching in and going, oh wow, it's Wayne Manor. I'm going into Wayne Manor now. I'm walking into the Justice League. But I wanted to link this whole thing in a new way. So I think you're going to really enjoy what I design and create. As I said, it's just more the structure of how I do it will, like, as I'm always taking feedback. As I said, like, don't feel bad if you feel like you shouldn't write and say you should do this. Like, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like, so always comment below being like, look, I think you should do it this way. Because I'm a little bit stumped on how to pull it off, essentially, at the end of the day. As it is a big task, pulling off. I don't know whether to do both rides at the same time. I don't know whether to do just Superman, then do the Flash. But it's pretty much just going to be an overall story for both rides. Now, people might be wondering what's going to happen with the Wizard of Oz entrance. And if you've watched my Wizard of Oz series and you've seen the real park, if you're lucky enough to have gone to the real park, the biggest problem I have is that you walk under the rainbow and you look left and you have to pretty much turn around to have that reveal of Oz. So anyone that's watched my videos knows that I have always seen the true entrance to the Wizard of Oz as being either behind the Scooby-Doo coaster, or in front of the Scooby-Doo coaster, going the back way through there, or through, it was like an old Japantown thing. It used to be how you used to get to Lethal Weapon when Superman Escape was being built. Like, that whole area was blocked off, and you would go the back way to get there. And that, to me, is the better way I feel like they could pull off that area. So that's just enough spoilers as I can put in for that. You'll see more in probably my next video, where I start to work on that area, and I've literally demolished not everything, but like I demolish the roof and I take all of the theming out, and it's pretty much naked. It's like just a naked skin of the ride, and it's pretty cool to see just the bare bones of it, and which is what I always thought is cool. Like, I don't know how many people when you ride Superman Escape like look around. Like, I love looking around in that ride. I love the smell of the subway flooding. I love when you're doing the initial launch, like looking around, seeing the track above and going like, oh wow, like that's cool. And then even when you're flying through, trying to see the zigzagging tunnels that they created to make it look like you're in a subway. So I have a really cool story idea for that, and I can't wait for you to see it. If I can pull it off, it'll be the greatest thing I've created in Planet Coaster, because yeah, it's my only suggestion for anyone that doesn't want or wants to be spoiled, go and look at my Batman Escape from Gotham. Yes, it is going to be using screens. Yes, it is going to be using real practical effects, obviously, but I feel like there's a great way to merge them together and have like a really cool ride that will hopefully revamp Movie World's Superman Escape and the Flash Speed Force coaster, sorry, all in the one movement, and it will be like amazing to see it all just come together and be like a unique structure. So I thought it was cool also, like seeing old remnants. So if anyone knows like how long you've been with my channel, this is one of the first rides that I made inside a Planet Coaster. I'd seen some people had attempted the Superman Escape, but it was literally a building and then the roller coaster part coming outside. Like there was no theming inside. Like they just had the S, like the shape of the track, and then the launch, and then the hill, and then the outside area, and that was it. And I always thought, like, why isn't anybody creating the inside? Like that's the best part of the ride, in my opinion. Like that whole story was so cool. But then when I started making it, that's when I was like, oh, that's why, because it's freaking impossible. So that was my fun part of the learning curve of Planet Coaster, was going, I understand why people don't do this sort of stuff now. So it was pretty cool. But as I said, it's one of my most popular videos, as far as view counts is concerned, and it's still growing. I think I get like 400 to 500 views a week off that video still, which is insane for a video that old to be slowly generating it. It's my first video that hit 10k views, which was crazy to think of back in the day. Like, I'm still, in my eyes, a small channel, but it's still like crazy. Like, some people were asking why I started releasing the Movie World series in TikTok, and that was just because of the response from the TikTok people. And I started to get people saying you should just copy over the videos, but I wanted it to be unique to the shorts. Like, shorts have to be different, and the attention span of people, like, you don't want to be wasting people's time. So videos like this are reserved for people that want to watch these videos. Short videos are people that are like busy. Like, I have a lot of friends that work and have kids, and like, they're like, look, I don't have time to watch a 30-minute video like this, and that's fine. Like, I don't mind that. So creating two different types of videos has just been so refreshing to me, and let's be honest, a lot easier, because it's a shorter form of me only having to do a minute of talking instead of 30 minutes of me rambling, as we're now 16 minutes in. I'm going to have another drink now. If you're this far, just have a drink or have something to eat. So the front area here was interesting to recreate, because I could have wasted heaps of time here and done it properly. Initially, I had light streaks going down the whole tunnel. I had all of this part was done out like exactly like the theme park. But the problem I ran into was, this was the end part. So this is, everything's done essentially. So I've only got to do the gardening. I've only got to do the filming of the episode and everything else. And by this time, Movie World had upped the pressure and said, remember to tag me. So I was like, oh, okay, they're waiting for me to upload this. But I always had it in my brain that don't spend too much time on this, because you're going to be deleting it all to remake it, essentially. The entrances will still be the same. The building will still be the same. That's the challenge that I want to set myself, is Movie World's not going to ask you to come in, right, and reinvent the wheel. They're going to make you come in and be like, look, we can't afford to change the track, can't afford to change the entrances to the ride, but we can change theming elements. And I feel like the front entrance can stay the same. The front entrance to Superman can change a little bit. I think I've always had that complaint, just personally with myself, of it's just sad that the ride itself has 2 stations. We can't do that in Planet Coaster. The ride itself has, the initial launch is at an angle. We can't do that in Planet Coaster. So that's why people always go, why is it so high? Like, it's not set that high in real life. And you're like, I know, I would love to be able to make it smaller, but it's just, it's logistically, it's just a nightmare to try and get it low enough. I would like to smoothen the track. That's always bugged me watching, especially lately, releasing the front seat point of view videos on shorts, was just how jolty it is. And I think that's a mixture of the ride itself not understanding like how it's meant to move, the camera, obviously it's meant to be a lot bigger in real life. It's shrunken down here and twists at a lot tighter of an angle to get back over the hill. Even going inside of the building, it's a lot cut back. So I don't know whether people would want me to, I feel like it'd be more fun, right, to delete all the scenery and then try to keep as much as I can whilst changing the story, right? So for the inside of Superman Escape, yes, delete the scenery, but try to keep it as similar as I can, so that, you know, like, you would try to cut costs. You're not going to go in there and be like, look, I'm going to spend $50 million on the revamp of this ride. I'd want to go, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be not unrecognizable is the word. It's going to be recognizable, but it's going to be, people are going to go, well, like, they've changed all this stuff and it's amazing. And I don't think it's that hard to pull off. I think that a lot of big companies just, they lose sight of that when creating stuff like this. Is you don't have to spend millions of dollars and create amazing effects and different things. People just want to be transported into that world, essentially. Well, that's just my opinion. I'm not sure. Like, comment below what you think, like, you look for in rides. I just love Superman Escape is a story. It's something that we don't have much of in a lot of theme parks nowadays. That's why I think Jungle Rush is getting such praise, because it's a whole story. Do you remember walking into Tower of Terror? It was Tower of Terror. Walking underneath that giant skull and being absolutely terrified of, like, oh, I've got to do a whole queue that's all fully themed and it's all lit up like this. And then they did the motorbike, I'm not sure what it's called now, and it was like, oh, okay, you get on the motorbike. And then I think that a lot of these companies lost sight of it, because you had, well, not really lost sight. I seen a documentary on the Bermuda Triangle the other day where it was, I think it was, quote me if I'm wrong, but Movie World was quoted a certain amount from, it might have been the Disney Imagineers that came out and wanted to offer to help them build the ride, and it was some ridiculous amount, so they just decided, well, we'll just do it ourselves, and designed the whole ride system themselves. And that's how you got the Bermuda Triangle. It was their own unique thing, which is why it wouldn't work in today's sort of world, which I'm pretty sure the video was hinting at, because of safety aspects and everything else that's got to go into it. You wouldn't be able to do that without having the proper companies come in and build it. And that's what I think sucks, is like a lot of these big companies like Movie World, I know some people say they don't care, but I feel like they're subject to a lot of scrutiny of safety regulations and other things that hold them back, that they'd love to build a whole crazy new world. Like, I think that's the feedback I've seen from The Wizard of Oz, of how dialed back it seems to be. But I would rather have dialed back and they can add stuff than Movie World saying, no, this is it. Like, and they haven't said that. They've obviously understood that you will need to revamp at some point. I think they might have been under pressure from Jungle Rush. They might not have been. I don't know the whole story. Movie World, if you are watching, please. We as fans would love to see like a documentary on just building the rides. Like, I know it's meant to be this tight-lipped thing and it's crazy, but there's a community of people like us that are actually interested in that whole story part of, like, the building of the ride, the logistics of it, the difficulty of it, which is even cooler to think of stuff like that. But I don't think I've talked about this video once. Should I go back to the video? I think I'll go back to the video for a bit. The surfboard itself, to randomly change topics, was very hard to create. As you can see, I'm struggling. I thought, how hard would a lightning pattern be? It would be easy in my mind. But I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why this lightning bolt is not working. Why I don't get it. I don't understand it. Why isn't there a tool that you can just resize things, shrink them down, and they fit perfectly? Oh, that's right. It's in Planet Coaster 2. Which sucks, but it'd be so easy. That's what I don't get, right? I'm going on my rant again, but like, most of these pieces, so like these pieces here, the shapes, they're all in Planet Coaster 2. So obviously you had the discussion of things that should go over to the other side. Why not just do everything? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, we're all going to buy the game anyways, but now it's, yeah, I don't know with that. What's going on? I've seen a couple of you guys have commented saying that you are going back to Planet Coaster because of it. I tell you what, as much as I whinge about Planet Coaster 2 and its thing, man, some of them buttons are just way easier. Like the scroll wheel thing, if you could customize that and put whatever you wanted inside of it, oh, money. That would be money in that game. But no, we'll suffer. So I ended up sitting with a, I'm going to go half on colours and just do the gulpy lightning bolt sign. Sadly, you can't change the colour of that. It is what it is. I thought it looks cool at night, and I'd be able to hide it enough with the ride vehicles itself that it would work essentially. But we'll see how how that turns out for people. Not really sure what else I do in this. Hopefully people understand that it's not working. I know I'll probably get that comment of why can't we write it? Why can't we move it? I did get some people asking why can't we download it, and I didn't know whether to do it as a full park again, which would be the third time you would download the park essentially. So I decided on just doing it as a blueprint. So if anyone has any problems with it being a blueprint, I haven't heard anything yet. I think I've had some people struggling with still with them being on consoles, sadly. And yeah, it is what it is. You can't play this on console. There's no way to transfer it. Trust me, it sucks. I know it sucks. I wish it was different, but yeah, it is what it is with that whole thing. But we will, I don't know, find a way someday to allow everybody to have it. Like, it'd be cool to be able to, for the first time, like I've seen a couple of like your guys' channels that are really good at building. Being able to collaborate on a movie world, in my own mind, would be cool. Just finding some other YouTubers that are like, hey, we all love movie world. We would love to recreate it, but I don't have the time to spend 100 episodes redoing that. As I said, if it's voted on by everybody to do that rather than something else, then hey, I'd happily do it. But yeah, more so because you'll be able to collaborate with other creators, which I think would be cool, of being able to hand it over to someone and saying, hey, fill out this area, and then being able to get it in everybody's hands more quicker. But this is pretty much the end of the Flash Speed Force full build. As I said before, sorry for rambling, sorry for going on. You can download this as a blueprint. You will have to do a bit of work though in deleting other parts of the Superman escape ride to get it to work and fit in and everything else, but you know the drill. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.